Welcome all of you to the NIBOSH IGC training session. My name is Alvin Mendonça. I'm health and safety consultant. Basically, I'm a civil engineer from 1995, living in Dubai. Now 7 years in Dubai. 12 years I worked in construction, and 9 FM industry, facilities management. Now I'm working in safety in Dubai as a senior consultant. Most of my time goes into trainings, meeting various different students from different nationalities, different organizations, and sharing the health and safety knowledge. I'm graduate member of Institute of Occupational Safety and Health, IOSH, at graduate level. Uh, yeah, that's about myself briefly. You can see me my about myself. You can hear about myself on LinkedIn. If you put my name, Alvin Mendonça, ALWYN MENDONCA. You can know me more better. My job, what I do, about qualifications that I have got, all that. So now I want to know my students as well. Uh, now we have only here at the moment logged in 3 people. Quickly tell me what you guys do and uh, what made you to come for safety. Start with Umair.
Sir, again, I don't understand this question.
What you don't understand.
What you say, sir? There is a connection
I said,
problem.
tell me your name and what you do.
Okay.
What is your work and what made you to come for safety course?
Sir, my name is Umair Rahman. I am
Mhm.
class 10 and I am free, sir. Don't any work.
So why did you come for safety course? What made you to come for safety course?
Sir, my cousin tell me,
Mhm.
sir, you
Acha. Okay, so you were recommended by somebody else, so that safety is a good course, good,
yes, sir.
better job opportunities, isn't it? Okay, good. Okay, Emmanuel. Once you finish, close your mic, mute your mic.
Yeah, please, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you,
Yeah,
Emmanuel.
thank you. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So I am um, a technician now in a company that I've been working there for the past 6 years now.
Mhm.
Right. Health and safety courses. The company is a company that is it's a global company. It is a company
Mhm.
that is most health and safety cautious. So I have had a lot of training over there in the company.
Mhm.
So I'm aspiring to be one of the probably work representatives of the.
Okay, good. All right, we got you. So you
So
want to
yes,
change your line
yeah,
into health and safety, or with your technical job only you want to do your job more safely?
yeah. So looking at the situation, the position I'm handling now, probably I can become a foreman.
Okay, I got it.
So yeah, so having health and safety to be part of
Thank you very much.
it will help.
Next, Ali Raza.
Hello, good morning, sir. This is Ali Raza.
Good
So basically, I am
morning.
a doctor. I have recently done my graduation in Doctor of Pharmacy. I'm from Pakistan,
Uh-huh.
Lahore,
Uh-huh.
and I'm doing the Bosch for two purposes. First, for the knowledge, you can say. We have one. I have one of our friends who have the training center, technical college in Lahore. Okay, for the mechanical jobs. And secondly,
Mhm.
I want to go abroad for further studies like MPhil, MD, or PhD. Then I
Mhm.
should I like the mechanical field there as well. So that's why I decided to like I have some spare time, so I thought make it useful a bit. So that's why I joined
Very
Nibosh.
good. So you are coming for your CV upgrade, isn't it? For your
Yeah.
qualifications upgrade.
Yes.
Very good. Nice.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So welcome you all. How do we do this course now? This is online platform. There are so many difficulties with the online. Advantages also there, disadvantages also there. On advantages is easy. You can sit at your home and listen to the trainings and get the knowledge. But sometimes what happen, internet issues will come, links will not work. Difficult to individual attention is difficult. I don't know whether you guys are there or not. I am talking to a computer here. Understand, no? So I want the participation from each student. Don't think that nobody is looking at us. So we can just keep the mic and the video on, connection on, and we can leave from there. So sir will not come to know. So that's okay. But if someone does that, it is lost for him only. Why? Because you have a purpose for sitting on this course. It's not that just time pass. You have, paid your money and your time for some purpose to get a certificate of NIBOSH IGC. And that certificate, no one will give you. You have to achieve it by writing the exam. Maybe people think maybe somebody else will write for us and we get the certificate. If you think that, that is leave that point, because pass rate is only 15 to 20%. Last time we sit nearly 90 students. Among that, after checking each papers, the Bosch has caught nearly 80% of the people get caught, and they will be banned for 3-4 years from taking the NIBOSH exam. Because after the exam, there will be closing interview. In the closing interview, you should prove your knowledge. You should tell what you wrote, why you wrote these answers. And if you fail to answer these things, obviously when you don't write, somebody else will write. If the student doesn't write it, then he may not able to answer, and that will be recorded, and NIBOSH will review that, and after they satisfy with the answers, then only the certificate, even if the person passes, certificates will be issued. So I'm telling you, all the interviews will be recorded after the exam, whatever good you write in the exam. But if you fail in the interview, if you can't able to answer the questions, at least some points that you wrote in the answer book, and why you wrote these answers, you should tell the reason. Why did you write this? What made you to write this answer? If you don't satisfactorily answer, you will not get your certificate. So now to answer that one, you should have the confidence that you wrote the answers, and for that you need to have the knowledge. So everybody will not able to answer. You can talk in simple English. Not to worry that you don't know English. I can speak in Hindi. No, you have to speak in English so that NIBOSH will understand what you said. And if not, then there will be an investigation. You have to answer then hundreds of questions. All that. Okay, so that is one part of attending the classes. And another thing, you need to have attendance to get your hall ticket. So you have to show the attendance to the NIBOSH, then only they will release your hall ticket or the login details. So I'm telling you, this is very serious now. NIBOSH has taken very serious. They found out many people don't attend the classes. They just get registered and write the exam without attending the classes. How a student can write the exam, on what basis? So that basis they have to prove now in the during closing interviews. So they will refer everything, then they come to a conclusion whether the student is having real knowledge, or without knowledge he is trying to get the certificate in a wrong way. Because NIBOSH is very reputed certification, only those deserved should have this certificate. Those who do not have any knowledge, and if they take a NIBOSH IGC certificate and roaming around, will reduce the value of this qualification, and nobody will trust this qualification in the future. Now employers are giving good respect to this qualification. Whenever they hire any safety professionals, they are asking for this qualification. Suppose if everyone without knowledge comes with this certificate, then what happens? The value of safety professionals will come down, the value in the market will come down, salaries will come down, because everyone without training, he issued the certificate, he is ready to work for very low salary. So that time what happens? Other people will suffer, those who are really capable. So whoever sit in this course, I expect them to give serious involvement in the class, do their work regularly, do some sacrifices, and participate in the classes. About myself, I achieved NIBOSH after coming to Dubai. I achieved my NIBOSH National General Certificate in 2004. I did it. It was very expensive that time and very tough. We had to study all the UK regulations. Now it is not there. Now we have conventions, international law, United Nations law. You can study easier. You don't have to give any by heart things, or closed book exams are not there. It's now all open book exam. You get a scenario, and as long as you have the knowledge, you can put yourself in scenario and complete the answers or task given in the question paper. So that easy it is. Who will fail? Those who do not attend the class, do not have any knowledge, they will only fail. Yeah, that is the major thing. I did my IGC, not IGC, NGC, National General Certificate, in 2004. Yes, 4. And then I did my NIBOSH diploma, international diploma, in 2009. 2009. After that, there was good scope. I did work for multinational companies. I was in Dubai Mall as safety manager for a facility management company for 4 to 5 years. Then I joined Mace Group, Mace Macro, for another 3 years as senior consultant. So then from 2014, I joined Heritage. And from 2014 onwards, now 9 years nearly, completion is happening completed in April, I think, yes. So it's still ongoing. We have done so many training courses for thousands of people. And Heritage Safety Center is one of the reputable training centers around the world. If you ask in ChatGPT about Heritage Safety Center, ChatGPT also can give you very positive feedback. And there are many engineers got certified. You can go to our website and check. And from today onwards, you are our students. You can directly deal with Heritage Safety Center and message me on WhatsApp. My WhatsApp number 00971505576 So you can WhatsApp me. You can call me as well. If I pick the phone, it's good. If I don't pick, means I may be on a training session. So on the training session, we normally silent the phone. So that time you can send me a WhatsApp message. So I will see that later and I will reply. Since it is the first session, I want to give all this information to you so that you will not miss any information. Now, I'm telling you, every student that is attending this course, once their examination is completed, there will be a closing interview. We will send an email. That is fine. If you don't get email, or if you are not able to get this date or time for interview, please contact us back through my email, through my WhatsApp message, asking for, I have not completed my closing interview. If you are not in our connection after the exam, or we can't able to contact you, then we have no other option other than sending information to NIBOS that you are not attended the interview, and your results will be hold. Results will be hold. You will not get your result. Then NIBOS will send you an email saying that you have failed to attend the interview. Please contact your training provider. Only after your interview you will get your result. So as early as possible, if you give your interview, you may have very good memory, and that will be easier for you to give interview. As the time passes, you may forget the things what you wrote, and it will be difficult, more likely that you may not able to answer the questions, and that will be a negative mark for you. Then there can be an investigation of that. If you get such kind of investigation emails, you can reply to the NIBOS with the confidence. As long as you write the exam, there is no malpractice. You can tell them whatever, like you were no, you were not well that day, or something like you were confused, or you were afraid because online, all that. There's so many reasons you can give, but you have to reply to them giving a good strong reason why during the interview time you were not able to answer the questions. So if they're satisfied with that, and they find out your answers are not from anywhere copied, they might take it for you, or they may say no, these results are nullified, you will re-register, you can't get your result. Or if they find out there is a malpractice, that your similarity answers found out with another papers, then they might ban both the students for 2 years, 3 years, and that is what is happening. Now I'll tell you, NIBOS has got a software, Turin software. Maybe some of your friends before who took the exam, if they are involved in this, they may get this kind of email from NIBOS. There is a Turin software with NIBOS. All the answer sheets, what you write and send or upload online after the exam, that will be put into this software, fed into this software, and software will run, and they find out which are the similar answers. Similar answers. There are so many hundreds of people are giving the answers, and all these answers will answer sheet PDFs will get into this software, and it will detect, artificial intelligence will detect the answer similarity, writing style, sentences used, that will found out, and then it will raise the flag, and then manually they will be checked. Then the involved students will be sent an email that they found out similarity. Then you have to give your reply. So you can still say again similar kind of answers, that you wrote this by yourself on, you have not done any malpractice or copied from anything, and then they will find out it out. But if they found out your sentence and another person's one sentence is similar, the full stops where you put where he puts, or some full paragraph is similar, then your answers, your reply may not be considered. They will mostly, as per my experience, they have made it a malpractice case, and they debarred both the students. So what I am saying is, when you write an examination, do not involve others. Do not involve others. Full stop. That's it. Do it by yourself. Don't copy from online, internet. There are so many websites may give you answers, and many students will search for the answers online and all that. You might find similarity of answers, and many people will copy that sentence and paste it. So that time similarity reports will come. So what you can do, in case you do this online, you can always do that. You can always do research. NIBOSH doesn't say you should not research. Go to the textbook, go to the websites, various government websites, international labor organ, ILO websites. You can find a read it and write it in your own sentence. Of course, we are human beings. We can't keep everything in our mind. We have to refer regulations. We have to refer the technical issues. Many things we have to refer. But that time copying directly is a malpractice. Understand it, and with example, maybe put your extra points there, and you can write the answer. And don't give like simple bullet points in the answer sheets. Yesterday, one student called me and said, sir, I wrote very nice in the last exam. I thought I would pass, but I got only 30 marks and I was failed. So I said, let me check your answer sheet, because I get all students' answer sheet because we have to do closing interviews. So I checked his answer sheet. He has written very nice, but what he has written? He has written simple sentence like provide training. Okay, provide training is good. What training to be provided? Provide maintenance. Correct. What maintenance is required for that particular accident? The question was how we could avoided this accident. What kind of suggestions you will give to avoid accident? So the man has written provide training. Provide training to operator. Provide maintenance to the machine. Provide supervision. So he has not explained that. 10 marks, 20 marks question. He has given some 10 points. Point is correct, but he will not get marked, and he failed in that. Then he realized his mistake. You have given 24 hours to write the exam, and if you write like this bullet points, provide training, provide maintenance, provide supervision, how they will give you mark? How you show your knowledge? You have the knowledge. What kind of training? Provide training in the hazard identification of that machine. For example, the hazard of rotating parts of the machine. The guards should be there. If there is no guard, the worker has to identify there is a no guard, and he should report that to the management. So he should write that like that, 2 to 3 sentences. So this way, only people can pass. So don't think like like a horse, only one side. So broaden your idea, broaden your knowledge base. Think horizontally. You don't have to give too much depth answers in the IGC level, at the certificate level. But later when you do diploma, then you should think about more deeper technical answers. But here, just wider. Okay. Tell that training, what kind of training you are suggesting. If it is supervision, what kind of supervision is needed? Just a namesake supervisor is okay, or a more competent person who knows about the job? Okay, so this way you can get pass in the examination, but for that you need to get the proper knowledge. So very good. That's about my introduction to this course, and we are having 11 chapters to complete. Um, uh, 11 chapters to complete. Okay, so after each chapter I will be giving you homework questions, and please do the homework. Spend some time every day, some half an hour at least, to go through the textbook, go through the answers, try your answers on a sheet by reading the question that I'm giving you, and everything will be given in the um, which one, in our WhatsApp group. So WhatsApp group is a main point of contact. You the even the textbooks are given there. Now I'll upload the questions, scenario based questions, which will come in your exams. I will put some scenarios as well. After the scenario, there are questions which are actually examination questions, what you are going to get similar exams. So try Okay, now our classes will go like this. There are 11 chapters. For the IG1 or for your examination, what you write now, that one day open book exam. For that, first 4 chapters knowledge is very, very essential. First 4 chapters knowledge. Managing. How do you manage the health and safety of the workplace? How you manage the people? How would you manage the machinery? Okay, to avoid incidents, accidents, and ill health. So first 4 chapters knowledge is very important. And then from chapter 5 to 11 is the technical part, mostly the technical aspects of health and safety, like of the hazards of the workplace and the controls and the controls, best controls. So that is the technical part. So from chapter 1 to chapter 11, all are important, but first 4 chapters you have to involve fully before the exam. First 4 chapters. Now, I am trying to explain as much as possible and giving you the principles of health and safety. My job is that one. Foundation. I will put a strong foundation for you in health and safety. So health and safety doesn't mean that just putting helmets and safety shoes and PP. There are, many things involved. Health and safety is like an ocean, big ocean. Most of the time we have seen only safety means maybe there is backside of our mind. Safety means, oh, it's very easy, putting helmets, PPE, and telling the workers what to do, what not to do. That is only 0.1 part of health and safety. There are so many things in health and safety. After you complete this course, the lessons, you will understand what is health and safety. And once you pass the examination, you get more confidence that you achieved that knowledge. You satisfy yourself by achieving that knowledge. Okay, so that's all about the basic information I wanted to give you before I start the classes. In the chapters, I will explain you most of the things. I'll give you, as I said, basic foundation. In between, we need to read. So whenever I said, let us read, I will ask someone to read it. When he reads, you please, on the book, on the screen, you will see the textbook. You all read it by yourself in silence. Keep a notebook with you. If you want to make some notes, like headings or some bullet points, what is important one, you please make a note so that it will be easier for you to revise later. You will understand what you learned. You can always come back to these points. So don't think that your minds are computers. Once you read it, you will immediately sit in the mind. No, we have to revise, we have to come back. So if you go to the textbook, it will be too much to go. When you write down bullet points, it will be easier, and you can go to the textbook to that particular point and get some more knowledge. So while reading time, I want everyone to read by themselves when someone else reading loudly. Okay, let's start with the chapter 1. Why we should manage workplace health and safety. Okay. You are here for health and safety course, right? Health and safety training. After this lesson, we need to understand these 4 elements. Why? Why should we manage health and safety? What are the reasons for managing health and safety? So moral, financial, and legal reasons. You'll understand how the health and safety legally regulated by law. Again, the answer is there for you. Why we should manage health and safety? Because there is law. If you don't manage the health and safety, it will end up in accidents, and authorities will involve. There can be fines, jail terms, to the responsible managers. No one wants it, so then do it. Do the right thing. So there are duties are given for management or employers, managers, supervisors, and workers. They have to fulfill them. Then another element we have to understand here, how contractors managed. Organizations or clients, they need to do some work, build a house, a building, or some maintenance. So we hire contractors. We may be very good at our workplace, but when a contractor comes, he will bring his culture there. He will make his unsafe practices. So who is responsible for his practices? Definitely the person who brought him in. Why did you select a person who is unsafe? So that means a client or a management who brings a contractor, they should analyze before correctly and bring a safe contractor. Don't only think cheapest contractor. Okay, money is one of the concern for us, but you make the contractor safe with putting proper procedures to him, so him to follow. Make sure he has got trained people, he's got a proper system when he works inside your premises. Otherwise, if you don't do these things, he might end up in some accident, injury, ill health to his own employees and to your workers, your organization, and the reputation of your organization may be spoiled, and you will end up in losses because of the contractor. And who selected him? You selected him as a client. So in this chapter, we will see why to manage health and safety. So first lesson of the first chapter, morals and money. So now let's see some definitions first. Health and safety. So health and safety, just two simple words. Everyone wants good health. Everyone wants good safety. Then only we can say we are happy. Our life is good. But we may have a lot of money in the bank account, but health is not good. Health is deteriorated. Then what happens? All the job that you did in your life, all the money that you made, it will not be for your health. You may not be happy. Similarly, safety, uh, getting injury, broken bones, safety from, in the society, you may think safety means safety from the criminal elements. That's okay. That is different type of safety. But here at workplace, this is occupational health and occupational safety. Due to the work, due to the materials that we use at workplace, for example, chemicals, the machineries, the dust, the hazardous substances, this can impact our health, and the processes, machinery, jobs, activities can impact on the safety. Safety will end up in causing accidents, injuries, fractures, and health means deteriorating of the health. There was no accident, no broken bone, but the health is deteriorated. For example, dust. That dust inhalation can cause harm to the lungs. The severity of the harm depending on what was inhaled. Is it a poisonous substance? Is it a just normal dust? Or is it a poisonous gas, for example, carbon monoxide? For our good health, we need good oxygen. We have to inhale oxygen in the lungs. Oxygen mixes with the blood. Oxyhemoglobin activity happens in the lungs. Heart pumps the blood, and you know how the circulatory system works. The blood will carry the oxygen to our body cells, and cells will be healthy. They absorb oxygen and they give out carbon dioxide that is returns back to the lungs, and we exhale carbon dioxide, and again the same blood will be mixes back with oxygen. So that is our circulatory system, keeps you good health. Now instead of that, at the workplace there are many contaminants that we use, hazardous substances, sand, silica, sand, due to in the masonry, in the construction sites, or maybe dust, whatever cutting, grinding works, it will come to the breathing zone. They will get into the lungs, and instead of oxygen now, along with the oxygen, maybe contaminants will mix the blood and they will damage the cells. Instead of oxygen, maybe sometimes poisonous gases, vapors, volatile organic solvents which will emit vapors, fumes, they will come into the breathing zone. And if no proper precautions are taken, they will enter to our body through various routes of entry. If gas, then it will through the nose. If there are liquids and we touch them directly, through the skin, absorption. And if if there is no good welfare facility, eating area at workplace, workers are sitting wherever they want, contaminants can enter into the food. Or if they smoke in the hazardous areas, it will cause contaminant can get through the mouth. These kind of things allow the contaminants, hazardous substances to enter the body, and they cause harm. So therefore, health is a separate issue and safety should be seen separately at the workplace, and proper controls need to be put at workplace. And who has to put these controls? Of course, by the responsible management, responsible manager, the employer. His job is to make sure the people come from their home in the morning, has to go back to their home in the evening without any harm to their health and safety. But if it is not done, what will happen? As the time goes, as the years pass by, health can be deteriorated due to the exposure to the substances. And if at workplace, if there are no proper safety precautions, then injury can happen for us. And this can not only by the the improper controls by the supervisor managers, maybe sometimes due to the workers own worker did not follow the site rules, he has not fulfilled his legal responsibility. Due to that also, person will suffer consequences. So consequences after the accident, we all know to certain extent, but in this chapter you will understand more what can happen after the accident. So let's see some kind of definitions before. Health means you understood. For example, how the health can be deteriorated. Asbestos. Asbestos is a substance which cause cancer. Similarly, carbon monoxide is a gas that leads to cancers. Cancers means cell structure damage. So when the workers are exposed to hazardous substances, health can be deteriorated. Chemicals and health no need to deteriorate immediately. Maybe sometimes immediately due to the more exposure, like a person goes unconscious due to the inhalation of the poisonous gas, or maybe everyday little exposure. No one comes to know what happens. Maybe after some years, persons the symptoms will come up, and that time it will be too late. So cancers generally comes after 20 to 30 years. For example, exposure to asbestos. You maybe heard about asbestos, right? Asbestos is a man-made fiber which was extensively used in the olden times, like some years back. Asbestos is a very good fire retardant material, fire retardant. Cooling, it will, if the sheets are put on the roofs, it is protecting from the sun heat. For chimneys, it was covered to reduce the heat from chimneys. All that it was used. But if that material is broken, when it is broken, the dust will come into the air. and this dust has got fibrous hook-like structures, and a very small, like in microns, one like 1 to 5 micron size, will get into the respiratory zone. Breathing zone is outside. Heavy particles will settle down on the ground, but small particles might still fly in the air. And when you inhale them, even the nasal air may not able to catch it. The mucous membranes may not able to catch it. So these small fibers, hook-like fibers, they will get into the deep into the lungs and hook onto the lung wall, and there they will start causing harm to the lung wall. Scar tissues will develop and the lung function will reduce. So mesothelioma, asbestosis, these are the names given to various different types of ill health caused by asbestos. And how this happened? Due to the lack of safety precautions during the work time. Okay, so that's health, and it is responsibility of the management supervisors to ensure that health of the workers is protected with proper safety precautions, proper medical checkups to the workers, and law also says the same thing. Next is safety. Safety means getting injury. So good safety means absence of risk of serious injury. Poor safety means risk of, always there is risk of injury. How? Risk of injury can, accidents can happen, fall from heights, vehicle accidents, machinery, blades, amputations, cutting, blood comes out, fractures are happening. So these are all safety issues that we may have, most of us may have seen at workplace, those who are working, when there are no safety precautions are taken, uh, this can happen. So now good safety follow means make sure that your workers are properly trained and they have been provided with the right PP, the machinery that they use are well maintained, and make sure the safety standards are maintained at the workplace. Welfare, again, what is needed at the workplace for a human to work, stay there, because most of the time, lifetime of the workers is at the workplace. 8 hours of a day we spend at the workplace. We need to go to toilets, we need to eat our food, we need to take some rest in between. That time, where do we are not going back to home. So at workplace there should be good welfare facility, at least reasonable welfare facility need to be provided. So such as toilet facility, hand wash stations, changing rooms. When there are contaminants, are workers are working with contaminants, then there should be changing rooms. Why? The work dress and the going home dress cannot be the same. When you come from home to the workplace, that dress need to be changed. So proper changing rooms. If there are ladies, then proper lockable rooms for separate for men and women, all that things, and proper storage facility for their personal belongings. Restrooms, places to eat food, dining areas, hygienic conditions overall, good drinking water, basic first aid provisions. So these are simple basic welfare facilities. Do you think welfare facility will impact the happiness of the workers? If good welfare, will the workers will be more happy at workplace? When the workers are happy, workers are comfortable, can they do good production at workplace? Yes, 100%. Because when I eat nicely, my health is good. When I go to my washroom is kept clean. Automatically, my mind will be more comfortable, and the same happiness I will put at my work, and the work quality will improve. But what you call it, worker morale of the workers will increase. But unhappy worker cannot give good production. The quality of the product will deteriorate. The relationships between the workers and management will deteriorate. all that. So welfare plays important role. When the management gives good welfare, reasonable welfare to workers, automatically their morale will increase. They start trusting their management. They start loving their management. They say, "Oh, this is our company, good company." You see the difference between the companies who give good welfare to workers and not giving good welfare to workers. No one wants to go to a company where there is no good welfare to workers. It's not only the salary that you get, big salary or small salary. Salaries is a different part, but a welfare facility given, maybe some recreational facility. You know what is recreation, right? Some companies give break time for the workers. There is a playing area, indoor games are there. Good, fruits are kept in the kitchen every day, and such areas it gives, it positively impact on the minds of the workers. When the minds are positively impacted, the production also positively, there will be, um, what you say, the production quality will impact positively. Okay, so there are various other definitions we need to learn as the course goes further. In different chapters we will be learning more definitions. Now next is reasons for managing safety. Why should we manage safety at workplace? Why should the management manage health and safety standards effectively? We already learned what happens if an accident happens. As per the ILO, you know what is ILO? International Labour Organization, under United Nations. All the member states of the United Nations has to, comply with the UN's requirements. So worker and management's relationship will be looked after by the ILO, the branch of United Nations. If there was no law, what would have happened? In the olden days, there was no law, and big company owners, there were slaves working with them, and if the slaves are getting injury, they are dying, nobody was bothering about them. But once the governments came, law developed, then humans were started giving respect. Human lives were considered as valuable. Each life is valuable. If any injury happens or any accident and death happens to a worker, it will be properly investigated. Why did he die? So even though after the ILO, they put the laws, they put the conventions which came up. Still, if you see the statistics, there are over 350,000 work-related fatal accidents reported each year. Half of these occur in agriculture. So generally, agriculture is not a very high-risk industry. Agriculture, but at agriculture also high risk is, so many work-related accidents happening, fatal accident, deaths. Over 2.75 million people die every year from occupational accidents and diseases. Which diseases? Occupational diseases. Occupational means work-related diseases. Can you tell me what are the work-related diseases? Maybe cancer, due to the exposure to the workplace contaminants. There are carcinogens that people use for their work, cancer-causing substances, asthma-causing sensitizers. Due to them, the health can be deteriorated if no proper precautions are taken. What the statistics says, around 2.4 million of these deaths are attributable to occupational diseases. There are over 270 million occupational accidents and 160 million occupational diseases recorded each year. So 4% of the world's gross domestic product is lost each year through the cost of injury, death, and absence. So that much economic downturn happens due to the poor health and safety standards. So high risk sectors other than the agriculture is construction and fishing industry. That's as per the study. You can get more information on this ILO website about the latest statistics. You can refer them for the more information. So is it right that, is it okay that people get harmed at workplace? As a human being, it is not okay. We are all human beings. We live with our families. There are dependents for each one of us. Father goes out for work at a company, and the children and wife expect my father comes back in the evening. So who has to ensure that he is going back? The manager and the supervisor who is giving him jobs in the workplace. They should make sure that the person has to go back home in the evening. His family should be happy. And to ensure that, and why they should ensure? Because they are also human beings. Moral, we call it moral. It is a moral. Some pain and suffering is not morally acceptable. Nobody is happy when someone's legs are broken, somebody is dying, some family is crying. Nobody wants to see. What we want to see, the children are happy, father is earning good money, good house is built. When in a society, if there are families, if one family is very rich, one family is very, very poor, then there is a big gap happens. But when all the families living in that society are healthy, rich, happy, automatically that society will, become stronger. When societies are made healthy and happy, safe families with the good health, good money, financially strong, then that society is a stronger society. So everyone's responsibility, moral responsibility is there to protect each other, help each other. That is the moral reason. Now, moral responsibility starts from the top management. The company owner should think morally that my workers need to go back home. So how can I ensure whatever is needed for their safety at workplace? I should ensure that. I should give them good equipment, maintain machineries. I should give them trainings to make sure that they work safely. I should give them good welfare so that they will have good morale at workplace. And overall, the good safety standards, health and safety standards must be maintained, and that is the first job of each responsible manager. Moral. If they don't do that, they are not morally good people. Understand, no? So that is the moral responsibility in health and safety. No pain and suffering. All are happy. When all are happy, the organization is happy. When the organizations are happy, that country is happy. Understood, no? So that way. So moral responsibility plays important role in health and safety. If we don't think morally, we are not morally good people, then automatically it will reflect at our workplace. We don't care about others. We just look after ourselves. We will become more selfish. Okay. Then comes financial reasons for managing health and safety. What is finance? Finance is money. Why did management started the business? Not for charity. They wanted to make money. So they invested initially, and now they want the returns. Whatever jobs they do, this can be hazardous jobs, production, big machineries have been installed there. Can they work by themselves? No, they need technicians, people from the society. So morally, they should think first that these people want when we hire for our companies, they have to go back home safely. So that is the reason what we already discussed. Now, financial reason is what? Finance. if we don't do good health and safety or don't implement good health and safety standards, that will end up in accident. Definitely. When the training is not given, worker may not work safely. When the maintenance is not given to the machinery, it will end up in accident. Excuse me. So that way. Now, after accident, what will happen? That is the point here, what we discussed. Finance, how it will impact your finance after the accident. So we need to think here, cost of accidents, financial arguments, cost of accidents. What is the cost of accident after the accident? How does it impact on the company's pocket? So there can be direct cost and indirect cost. Direct cost following the accident, which we can measure, like medical, first aid treatment, time spent by the first aider, calling ambulance cost. Worker is now in the hospital. His payment has to be made, his salary has to be given, sick pay. Damage happened there, it has to be repaired. So repairs, replacement of machinery. Maybe due to the fire, the building is damaged. It has to be now repainted. There's a lot of cost involved in the after the accident. Damaged product. Maybe you have to give to the client by the so and so date, so much production. And whatever production was made, it has been now damaged due to the accident. Maybe it was a fire accident, maybe it was a vehicle accident. Now you have to recreate that product. Otherwise, you lose the big order, big business. Client may not be happy with you. He might put a fine on you. So lost production time while dealing with the injury. Due to the injury, what happens? Job stops, right? If authorities involved, they will stop it for investigation purposes. Then production. So production is lost. Client may not be happy. He may have his own terms and conditions, all that. And due to these are all the direct costs. Now indirect cost, what will happen indirectly then? Staff morale will come down. When the workers are looking at the accident, there one of their colleague broken his legs or died, they will be very much upset with the company. They start thinking that this company did not put controls. Because of that, our friend expat died. They did not do good maintenance. He informed this one to his manager, supervisor some days back. The machine is giving trouble, or there is this issue, that issue, but management did not take any action. So it will reduce the staff's morale or trust of the workers on the company, which will impact on productivity, quality, and efficiency. Then there can be other indirect cost difficulties in recruiting and retaining the staff as a result of the accident. So when people come to know this is unsafe company, no good experienced people will join them. Or those who are experienced, they will leave and search for some other job. Why? Companies may not able to keep them because experienced people has to be paid more money, more salary. When the companies are making accident, there is no production, there is no money. How they will give money to others? Only good companies with good business only can afford to keep experienced people. So the company did not do good health and safety. They ended up in accident and lost the money. And good people will go leave them. And when the experienced people are leaving them, the production will definitely deteriorate. Loss of goodwill of customers following delays in production and fulfilling orders. Customers may not be happy who gave you business because you are not giving them on time. Then next time they will not give you any work. Then comes damage to public image and business reputation. Damage to public image. Yeah, when the name comes, media is so strong now. Social media is so strong. So what happens? Damage to public image. Your name will spoil, and business reputation will impact. Clients will see that. Maybe potential clients who are supposed to maybe thinking that they will give business to you, and they're supposed to sign a contract with you. Now they will change their mind after looking at your accident. Damage to industrial relations. perhaps leading to industrial action, strikes. When the poor health and safety standards are there, some countries there are unions. Unions will, there can be strike against the organization. So this is all due to the lack poor health and safety standards maintained by the organization. Okay. Sometimes some organizations are saying after accident we don't have to worry. We are paying the insurance and the insurance will cover the cost. Insurance will cover the cost to certain extent. So because there is a employer's liability insurance is a mandatory in most of the countries. But they will have a lot of clauses. You need to read that clauses first. Just keeping insurance, paying the premiums may not be sufficient. So what are the clauses? Definitely, they will write a clause saying that all the jobs must be carried out as per the legal requirements, as per the national law or UAE law. If you're in the UAE, then what is the law? You should know that law. Law says carry out risk assessment. Law says provide training to workers. Law says ensure that jobs are carried out safely with all the controls. So after the accident, there will be an investigation from the authorities and they give a report. And if they find out there was no risk assessments carried out, worker was not trained because you don't have proper proof of the training certification and all that to the workers, then the report comes that this company or the manager has broken the law, and there will be legal consequences on the company like fines and jail term to the responsible supervisor manager. But also the based on that report, there are high chances that the insurance company will reject the insurance payment. So that time company has to pay from the pocket. So it's better always comply with the legal requirements and keep all the papers up to date. Uh, so what we were talking like insured cost and uninsured cost. Okay, insured cost can be done for certain items like property damage, medical, all that. But what about uninsured cost following the accident? As a research says, there is a difference between insured and uninsured cost is like 8 and 36 times. The uninsured cost are 36 times greater than the insured cost, or you can say 4 times, 8 and 36 times. So the British regulator, the HSC, have estimated that uninsured losses are between 8 and 36 times greater than the insured cost. In some companies, it was 8 times more. In some companies, it reached up to 36 times more than the insured cost. So what are the uninsured costs then? Uninsured costs are like reputation can be uninsured cost. Losing the business, big business because of the poor reputation. Very huge amount it is. Your property damage may be smaller and insurance covered it. But due to that accident, it ended up in people looking at that. Experienced people will not join that company. You were supposed to get a big business that you lost it. So it's a very huge losses. So insured and uninsured costs you need to understand. So in this topic focus, you can see what are the insured cost, what are the uninsured cost. So insured cost, which can be insured against, can be plant damage, buildings and the equipment damage can be insured. Compensation can be paid by the insurance company. Medical cost can be paid. Legal cost associated with the legal claim for compensation. Yeah, legal claim for company, legal cost also can be paid, but not the fines and not the jail terms. Huh? It's only for compensation purposes. You hired a lawyer, that can be paid by the insurance. But uninsured cost, where insurance doesn't cover, production delays or downtime, loss of raw material due to accident, accident investigation time, criminal fines and legal cost, sick pay for injured workers, overtime to make up for lost production, hiring and training new employees, loss of business reputation. So these are all the uninsured cost where company has to face all these losses. So generally we need to understand another point. If we claim the insurance, next year insurance premiums will increase. That is also a financial loss to the company. If you don't claim the insurance, probably next year insurance premiums will reduce. But if you claim it, then next year insurance premiums will increase. And for big companies, the insurance premium can be in millions. Okay, millions. So that things we need to understand. Okay, that way we finished chapter 1. Chapter 1. Chapter 1, lesson 1 of chapter 1. Morals and money, reasons for managing health and safety. Do you have any questions? Chapter 1, lesson 1.2. Now this is regulating health and safety. Regulations, law, legal reasons for managing health and safety. So there are health and safety. Law is there. Law requires that employers has to stay within the limit. Don't go out of the limits. You do business, make money, but protect the people. So they will put a line. Okay. So legal reasons. So there are international frameworks, national laws to govern the conduct of business and organizations. So most countries have laws that set standards for how organizations to conduct themselves with regard to managing health and safety risk. Failure to achieve these minimum standards can lead to enforcement action. Enforcement action means authorities will involve and put case against the individuals and against the company. When the case will come? When the breach occurs, law breach occurs. How they come to know law is breached? During their inspections or during an accident, following an accident, during the investigation, they come to know why this accident happened, what was the reason, what law is breached. Then all the legal procedures start. So let's see what kind of international framework we have. Since United Nations is there, the member states has to follow the United Nations law. How does the United Nations give out law? Through conventions and recommendations. So for health and safety, what law has been sent by ILO? For health and safety, there is Occupational Safety and Health Convention, C-155. Please underline C-155, this one. Okay, C-155. You need to know this, C-155. If you go to ILO website or just type Occupational Safety and Health Convention C-155, please read it whenever you have time, and it will give you what is the responsibilities, what need to be done by the management, what are the responsibility of the workers, managers, everything is given in detail in this one. So that is C-155, Occupational Health and Safety Convention. So what it does. Now C-155 is the law. Now there is a recommendation for the, like a guidance, that is Occupational Safety and Health Recommendation, R-164. So these both are important. C-155 and R-164 both are important for us to know, and we need to know what are the requirements of this. Many countries that belong to the ILO have ratified C-155 and R-164 and have then legislated to put their requirements into the national law. So once those the member states, member countries of the United Nations, they ratify. Ratify means they accept it as a law, and they implement that ILO law into their national legislation. So if we see our Dubai or UAE legislation, federal law number 8 is there. In that chapter 5, article 91 till article 101. If you just Google it, you will come to know what are the requirements, and it is mostly from these Occupational Health and Safety Convention C155 and R164. And if you see their code of practices of UAE, all the various points taken from the ILO, they made it as the law, and that will be implemented by the inspectors, municipality inspectors, or various bodies, governmental bodies. They will ensure that that are relevant to health and safety inspections, and they will ensure these things have been implemented at workplace. So Article 16 of C155, this talks about the employer responsibilities. Very, very important in terms of examination point of view. Many time in the scenario given for the examination, there will be a question. The accident happened in the scenario. Comment on what employer's obligations were contravened based on the Article 16 of C155. Maybe a 10-mark question. What question? What employers' responsibilities were contravened? I will show you the question maybe here in one of the question paper I am opening. Let me check. Maybe employers or maybe workers. You can see this one. The first question here. How many marks given for that question?
12 marks.
See this? 12 marks, right? See, that is the first question. What is the scenario given? You can see this is a question paper, previous one. So this was a question paper, and there is a scenario given. You have to read the scenario. Okay, read the scenario. Okay, read the scenario that way. Many times you read, make the notes of the scenario, and then you can answer the questions one by one. So our first chapter question is here. Obligations of employers. Okay, what employer obligations are likely to have been contravened, leading to the temporary workers accident in this scenario? What employer obligations are likely to have been contravened, leading to the temporary workers accident in the scenario? Straightforward question. So note is given there. You only need to consider those obligations placed upon employers under the recommendation 10 of International Labour Organization R164, Occupational Safety and Health Recommendation 1981, number 164. You should support your answer where applicable using relevant information from the scenario. So 12 marks question. So when you come to our chapter here, where is the chapter? This one. This is now C155. Not asked about this one. Article 16 C155. So let's first see C155. What are the obligations? Then we'll go to R164. Okay. So now C155 says every employer should ensure that the workplaces, the machinery, equipment, and processes under their control are safe and without risk to health. Okay, read that again. The workplaces, machinery, equipment, processes under their control are safe and without risk to health. Now, if a question asks about this one, C155 or 165, you should write that. The requirement is that of Article 16 that workplaces, machinery, equipment, and processes under their control are safe and without risk to health. However, in the scenario, it was stated that the equipment given was not well maintained. The process that the work was happening was not well managed for health and safety. For example, in the paragraph 5 says the machine was giving noise. Worker informed this one to the supervisor, but he did not take any action. So this is a breach of the C155 Article 60. What is the second point says of C155 Article 16? Employer has to ensure that the chemical, physical, and biological substances and agents under their control are without risk to health. Suppose if a chemical related accident happens, then this is a relevant one. Relevant clause. Chemical. Any chemicals used must be safe. Any physical. Physical means a machine is a physical hazard. If the machine rotating part is not properly protected, then this is the breach. Biological agents, viruses, bacteria, blood, that can cause diseases. If they are not managed properly at workplace, then it is the breach of this one. And what is the third point of the C155 116 Article 16? Employer has to provide adequate personal protective clothing and personal protective equipment to prevent workers from risk of accidents or adverse effects on health. So it says provide the clothing and provide PPE to the workers to protect them from accidents and adverse effects on their health. Suppose if the scenarios, when you read, it shows you that any paragraph, the workers were not given PPE or workers found working without PPE, then this is the breach of the article breach. Similar now in this scenario, what we just now I saw that it is asking this one. Article 10 of R164. Article 10 of R164. I'll go back to the question paper again. What it says? Article R164, isn't it? And recommendation 10 of Article 164. What obligations of employer contravent? Let's see here again. Recommendation 10. See, or recommendation 10 or Article 10 of recommendation R164. What it says? Emmanuel, can you read this points?
It says provide workplace and work equipment and use work methods which are safe and pose no risk to health.
First is providing workplace and work equipment and work methods which pose no risk, are safe and no risk to the health. Okay. Second one.
Provide appropriate instruction and training.
Very good. So the law says Article 10 provide instruction and training. Now so read in the scenario whether the company given training to that particular worker who got the accident. If no, then you can say the Article 10 says of R164 that provide appropriate instruction and training. However, the temporary worker was given only 5 minutes of induction training. And there is no other job specific training provided. The worker was allowed to work on the machinery without any training. That means this is the contravention or breach of the Article 10. Third one.
Provide necessary supervision.
Provide necessary supervision. Yes, provide necessary supervision. Whether during the accident time, was there a supervisor? No. The scenario says that the supervisor given the job to the worker and he left to some other area. So supervision was not there. The next point it says put in place health and safety arrangements adopted to suit the size and nature of the undertaking. If anything is there, you can talk on the whether arrangements means the proper procedures were there or not. Arrangement section. Provide any necessary PPE and equipment free of charge. Whether the workers were given proper PP? Read that in the scenario correctly. Did the management charge any money to the workers for getting replacement of PP? Many companies are doing that. When I was working in construction, I remember one of the contractor, they give very poor quality safety shoes to the workers, and after 1 month the safety shoes sole is getting damaged, the gum is damaging, the soles are damaged, and when they go for replacement they charging them money and give the next set, and it will be deducted from their salary, saying that it is workers fault to damage the PP. But while getting itself they get the very poor quality shoes. So that is a breach of the article 10 of R164. Ensure that the hours of work do not adversely affect employees' safety and health. So especially night shift works, how it is managed. If such kind of scenarios are coming, then these are the breaches. Take measure to eliminate any extreme physical and mental fatigue. Extreme physical and mental fatigue. Stay up to date with knowledge in order to comply with the above. So all these are the requirements of R164. So you need to see which articles were breached, and only relevant to that scenario you should select the articles and tell them these articles were breached with these are the examples given in the scenario, and like that you can give a some 10 12 marks, means at least 12 to 15 sentences you can write, and you will get a pass mark in that. This way you can get good marks. But if you don't write, just put some bullet points, you may not get marks. So how is that? Do you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand what I explained you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So let's
Yes, sir.
okay, let's go to the workers' responsibilities and workers' right. And now this is Article 19 of C155 states that all workers and their representatives have to cooperate with their employer so that they can fulfill their safety obligations. Okay, so there are responsibility for workers as well. It's not only for managers. So what are the worker responsibilities? According to Article 19 of C155, they have to cooperate with their employer. Now, R164 gives in more detail on the general duty. What are the duties of workers? It says, take reasonable care of their own safety and that of other people who might be affected by the things that they do and the things that they fail to do. So take reasonable care of your own safety, workers' own safety, and to the other people who might be affected by the things that they do and they fail to do. Do you understand this sentence? So if I am a worker and I do the cutting using a grinding machine, is there a risk from this machine? Yes, it has got a mechanical hazard, it has got an electrical hazard, it has got a chemical hazard, dust, many noise, so many hazards are there. So what the law says, take reasonable care of yourself first. That means I should use a safe machine, work in a safe area, do not allow others to enter the area. So that is my second part. Others also you need to protect. So I will barricade my area, display signage there, do not enter. I will wear my earplugs so that noise will not harm me. I will make sure my socket, my electrical connections are in good working order so that they will not cause me harm. I will wear proper respiratory protection so that dust will not be entering my breathing area. So what about others protection now? Okay, I have done barricade, but will the dust will impact others? Definitely. So I will ask them, sir, for some time, please go away from here. There will be dust in the room, or I will come out from that room and I will do this cutting in an open area so that nobody will be affected. So that is the actual practical thing one can do to show that compliance to this rule. What is the second one? Comply with the safety instructions given to them and the procedures of the company. So supervisor tells him, do not use that machine. Or maybe there is a tag put on that machine. Do not use, under maintenance. If a worker removes that tag and uses that machine, is it a breach of the law or not? Yes, it is breach of the R164 law. So comply with the instructions given. So instructions can be given during the toolbox talk trainings. Instructions can be given during the induction trainings, through the signages, to notices, through the procedures. So all that workers has to comply. If they don't comply, it can be fault from their side, breach from their side, and the worker may be punished for that as per the law. Third point, use all safety equipment properly and not tamper with this. Very, very important point. Equipment, safety equipment, it can be PPE, personal protective equipment. I saw some workers when I was in the construction safety. One worker was making holes in the helmet. I asked him why you made the holes. He says for the air condition, he says, for ventilation to the head. So he is misusing the safety equipment given to him. And some workers where I saw them carrying water in the helmet. I asked them why you use the helmet to carry water. They say, sir, our dining area is here and the washing area is there. Now, after eating, we need to wash the hands. So going to all the way will take our 5 to 10 minutes. We want to take some rest. And they were carrying the water from the washrooms when they go to wash after the work and take that water to the dining area. I mean the eating areas. Yeah. So that way they are misusing that one. But again, management has to understand these problems and they should take appropriate measures there so that there is a washing and dining area is nearby. People may not take shortcuts, all that things. Report any situation which they believe could be a hazard and which they cannot themselves correct. So workers' responsibility to report the situations, dangerous situations that they saw in the workplace. For example, when you walk in a workplace and you find some unsafe condition like water on the access way, you saw it. Will you leave it like that or will you report that to your management or to your supervisor? There is a danger. If you leave it, then it can be breach. Maybe because of you left it, someone else slipped on that and caused serious head injury and maybe a death occurred due to your small carelessness not to reporting that one. But if you had reported, someone had been removed that one immediately. That water can be from a leakage of the water pipe from the top or maybe some spillage on the floor. But once someone sees that, he should have been immediately reported. So reporting any unsafe conditions at workplace, a scaffold at workplace without proper handrails, proper access being used by workers, immediately report to the supervisor that they saw something unsafe happening. Please rectify it immediately so that further hazardous conditions will be minimized. When everyone does this, automatically 90% of the safety hazards of the workplace can be reduced. And next obligation of the worker is report any work related accident or ill health. Accident, ill health or injury, anything, then you should not hide it. While a worker working, he got injury to his finger from some cuts, sharp edges or something like that. He is now afraid if I report it, maybe company manager will put blame on me. That's all depending on the culture, how the organization culture is. But if he doesn't report also, there can be he is a breach. He is making the breach of law. So once he report it, he might get proper help, proper first aid, condition will not deteriorate. But if he doesn't report, today it may be a minor, tomorrow it can be a major accident. Maybe an amputation can happen. Today, if you report a minor thing, management can take action and rectify the hazard. Okay. The convention recommendation not only put a duty on workers, but also give those workers rights. So in addition to the basic right to a safe workplace, Article 19 of C-155 gives workers the following rights. What are the rights? The right to be provided with adequate information on actions the employer has taken to ensure occupational safety and health, the right to the necessary training in occupational safety and health, the right to be consulted by the employer on all matters of occupational safety and health relating to their work, the right to leave a workplace which the worker has reason to think presents an imminent and serious danger to their life or health and not be compelled to return until it is safe. So these are the rights of workers. What are the rights? To get the right information about the job, about the occupational hazards, about the ill health that can cause from their work. So they have the right to know this. That means not that supervisor is telling them about or giving them training, uh, you know, uh, just by namesake. No, it is their right to know, legal right. Every worker has to get this information, get the training on occupational safety and health. Employer has to consult with the workers with if the job affects their health and safety. Maybe bringing a new mission to the workplace, then employer has to first consult the workers that we bring a new mission. It has got this job to be done with this mission. These are the dangers of this. So give them proper training on that. If employer doesn't do that, then there is a breach from the employer side. And worker can leave a workplace if they find out there is an imminent danger to their health and safety. Maybe during a fire accident at workplace or an explosion occurs, worker doesn't need permission of or manager that they want to run out. They can immediately stop their work and go away so that they can protect their life, and it is their right to protect their life. Okay, do you have any questions on this to me? Okay, no questions. Next is the role of enforcement agencies. So there are enforcement agencies. They will act like police for health and safety. So each country has got authorities, enforcement agency responsible for enforcing health and safety law. So we call them generally health and safety police force. So what is their job? They provide advice. When an inspector comes, health and safety inspector, municipality inspector comes, he will give you advice if you ask him something. They investigate workplace accidents. If an accident happens, we can't hide it. We have to report to police or 999 or municipality as per the local regulations. And once they come, they start investigating the accident, take formal enforcement action to force employers to comply with the law. When they find out that employer or manager is not complying with the law, they may give them notices, violation slips, improvement notices. And when they find out the law is already breached, something was not followed, there can be a criminal proceeding against the individuals and the organizations if they committed any offenses. So many countries have a separate fire authority with the role of enforcing fire safety legislation and advising employers. So every country we have civil defense that they will look into fire safety related matters. Fire safety also part of the health and safety. Some countries, insurance companies fulfill a major role in enforcing safety by carrying out inspections and audits on a regular basis. This can help to improve standards as the insurance a company can demand increased insurance premiums or refuse to provide insurance cover at all unless standards are improved. So insurance companies, some companies, they play important role in improving the health and safety standards at workplace. Uh, so what happens if you don't comply the law? What are the consequences of the non-compliance of the law? Definitely, when authorities find out that compliance is not done, there can be formal enforcement action. So what is the formal enforcement action? An agency or a police or a authority might force the employer either to make an improvement within the workplace within a given time period, or to stop carrying out high risk activities altogether until improvements are made. Failure to comply with formal enforcement action is usually considered to be an offense in itself. So formal enforcement action, maybe they give in notice, violation slips, improvement notice, prohibition notices. They will send and they will force the employer to act upon them. If you work inside Jabal Ali free zone and all, there are EHS there. They will visit the site and they give a report saying that these things need to be improved. We found out the forklift operator is not received proper safety training. This need to be rectified within 7 working days. So when they, after coming 7 working days, if the forklift operator is not given still training, then there can be a fine imposed on them. Prosecution of the organization in the criminal courts. That is another outcome. When it is prosecution is happening, generally after a major accident, somebody died or a property damage or a big fire happened, then definitely authorities will involve and they see what law is breached and they will put a charge sheet against the company or individuals. So this is organization, first one to the company, and the company might get a fine on them if the breach is proved by the court. Also, prosecution of individuals such as directors, managers, and workers. They see whether the conventions breached, what conventions was breached, and successful prosecution might result in punishment in the form of fine and imprisonment. So individuals can be imprisoned if a manager is responsible for the death of the worker. He has not taken sufficient precautions. So he did not give them training. He did not give them personal protective equipment, and then accident happened. Person got seriously injured or dead. Then that particular supervisor, particular manager, may be put behind bars, put a huge fine on them, and insurance may not pay that fine. Insurance will not pay. It has to be paid by the worker or this company. Until they pay the fine, the person's passport or person may be inside the jail or passport may be taken by the police. In Dubai, these things are happening. Many, maybe in Saudi Arabia, in your country where you are living, you may hear these cases which are coming in the newspapers regularly. So as well as the criminal law consequences, there is also the matter of compensation for workers and others injured by a workplace accident. Depending on the region, country, Next subheading, other international standards that will help to regulate the health and safety. Most of us have heard about this ISO standard, isn't it? International Organization for Standardization, ISO. These days, ISO is a reputation, like employer perception. When you have ISO certification means you are complying with the international standards. Someone, third party will monitor you, your compliance requirements, will monitor your procedures. So it's a very good initiative, ISO certification, but it can be misused as well. ISO certificate doesn't guarantee anything that you comply with the requirements. Maybe during the auditing time you can show them all the paperwork, but once the audit is finished, you get certificate, all your files will get into the into the cupboard. Nobody will go into follow the procedures. Such companies also there. But if you promptly follow the ISO requirements and put them in day-to-day use, the procedures implementation day-to-day use, the training needs day-to-day use, then that company can achieve really very good benefits. So there are various ISO certifications are there. ISO 9000, which is a quality management standard. ISO 14001 is the environmental standard. And ISO 45001 is occupational health and safety standard. So these are the management systems. And they work on plan, do, check, act concept. PDCA cycle. Plan, do, check, act. So any job, planning stage is there, then doing stage is there, then checking stage, and action for continual improvement. But to promptly do this, the management commitment is very important. The leadership plays important role in implementing the ISO standards. Okay, so we will be learning about ISO in the next chapter, little bit more on that. But here what we need to understand that ISO standards can help in developing health and safety standards of the workplace. So which one relevant standard here? ISO 45000. ISO 9000 meant for the quality. We are not involved in that. Quality managers are there. And environment also is another issue which relevant to land pollution, air pollution, and water pollution related issues. And health and safety, ISO 45000. But what now? Multitasking has been done. There will be one manager who is looking into QHSE. Also, you will be given additional responsibility of security and all that. So QHSE manager. So that is a challenging part for safety professionals these days. In order to be in the market, you need to be, professional, or you need to master the skills of all these different fields. Companies don't want to keep separate managers, maybe cost related issues, or they don't know about the importance of the different aspects of the health and safety and environment and security. These are all different aspects. But as long as there is a team working behind you on these various factors, then it's okay. But you need to be capable of handling these departments. Anyway, you understood what I am saying here. So from where we get the information? I said in the beginning, we are not computers. There's a lot of information. Health and safety is an ocean, like your ocean. There's a lot of things in that. So you can't keep everything in our mind. So where can we find information when needed? So there's a lot of, we are lucky people, we have a lot of online resources. One time it was not available. When we were doing health and safety into early 2000s, there was no much information available. We have to try to dig out the information, asking with professionals, all that. But now you have information in hand, just click of the button, Google it. Now chat gpt is there, you can Google. And but it's up to you to finalize on the information, whether it is relevant information, is it reliable or not. Don't simply take some information and put an issue on the health and safety non-compliances. You should accurately analyze the information, see which is the relevant regulation, whether it the regulation you know or not. Study your local regulations and talk to the various professionals before raising the issue. Confirm it. Otherwise, there would be credibility issues on the safety professional. Once you raise a wrong issue without proper support, you may not able to end up it. Then you will leave it in between, which will show your non-professionalism. So we need to know from where we can get information. So there are a lot of sources of information. You can go to HSE website, Health and Safety Executive, hse.gov.uk. On various topics, a lot of information is available on that website. Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA from US. So OSHA.gov. OSHA is very famous and very reputable name in the US. Like HSC in the UK, OSHA in the US. These are the health and safety police, you can say, for that particular countries. European Agency for Safety and Health at Work. So they have various health and safety relevant information, what employers need to do in the Europe. And in Australia, you can, if you are living in Australia anytime in the future, you can, this is a law there, you can get the law relevant information there. But when you are outside, also you can take that information as a best practice. You can refer that to your management and tell them, if we use these kind of things, our company can be much improved, better than other companies. So end of the day, we are there not to spend unnecessary money of our organization. We are there to help our company to save the money, and in meantime to reduce the accidents, reduce the ill health, keep the people happy, and keep good production so that companies will be benefited. So that is the main purpose of health and safety inside an organization. Okay. That way I'm finishing the lesson 2. I mean lesson 2 of chapter 1. Lesson 3 of chapter 1. Who does what in organization? Who does what in organization? So what is organization? We work for an organization. We call our organization as a company, an organization. Group of people come together and work together for a particular cause. There will be a manager or head of that organization, and he will invest on that company, and he wants to do certain production and sell it to his customers and want to make profits from that, and he'll hire the people to help him in that business. So it's an organization. So organizations need machineries, organizations need computers, tools, equipments, but more than everything, organizations need people. Just purchasing machinery, computers, and benches and chairs doesn't help the management to run the business. He wants people. So which people he needs? Which workers he needs? Is it Does he need knowledgeable workers, or does he need just a namesake worker who doesn't know the job? So he need knowledgeable workers, skillful workers. He need trained workers, and he need experienced workers. So we generally call competent people, competent employees working for an organization. That organization can reach to, extremes of heights of professionalism. Such companies can make wonderful profits. But on the other hand, if an organization with the dumb people who are not trained, who are not qualified, who are not having any skills, then what will happen? Companies will struggle to manage these people. They have not at all invested on these people. And the outcome from these people will be, it's just a poor quality production. But end of the day, companies has to pay them salary, give them welfare, lot of spending, but income from these people is very low. So managing people, very important. We'll look at it in the chapter 3 in more details about managing. But here, these people, the staff of an organization, must be properly given responsibilities. If they don't give responsibilities, they don't do their job. So proper responsibility. So who does what in organization, which plays important role in implementing health and safety at workplace. So employer is the person who started the business. Employer can be said to an organization itself. For example, Microsoft is an employer, can be an employer. But Microsoft is not a person. It is a company name. So it can be a personal name, person's name, or a person can be an employer. Maybe as what do you call it? Uh, the person who takes small contract individually, and he'll take some 4 people with him, and he finishes it. So who is the employer there? That man who took the contract. But in a bigger company, the company itself an employer. So a person or organization that employs people. So the employer is in this context is normally an organization such as a company, and is sometimes referred to as a corporate body. So it is important to recognize that the employer in this context is not normally a natural person. So he's not a breathing individual or living person. So employer, instead, they are a legal person and exist only in a legal sense. So on a contract, in a legal paper, the name is given as an employer. Maybe it's a company name. For example, Apple Inc. is an employer and a legal person. So then tomorrow something goes wrong, who will be held responsible? Very simple question, isn't it? So during the time of the accident, during the time of that breach of the law, who was heading that organization is the responsible person. So definitely that person's records will be there. If he's alive, he will be somewhere in the country, or if he left the country, his address will be there. There can be notice issued to him, legal notice, if a case comes out later after some years. During this time, this thing was happened, and this was the employer. So who was the manager at that time? So they have responsibilities under the law. So responsibility for ensuring that the workplace is safe and free of health risk rests with the employer. As we noted earlier, the ILO Convention C-155 and Recommendation R-164 make the duty of the employer clear. So what they said, we read that some points. Employer has to do provide safe place of work, safe equipment, provide training to workers, provide PPEs to workers free of cost. All that things are the responsibilities of the employer. These international standards are normally reflected by in the local law. Look again at the appropriate section in this element to remind yourself of the employer's duties. it is important to consider who an employer owes a duty to. So employer owes a duty to his own employees to ensure their health and safety is well maintained. Employer responsible to the other workers who might be working within their workplace but are not direct employees, such as casual workers, agency workers, and contractors. Sometimes subcontractors are coming there in a construction site, for example. Main contractor and there are subcontractors. So the main contractor's job, if affected or harmed to a subcontractor worker, then the main contractor is held responsible for that. Similarly, if a subcontractor's job is affecting the main contractor or other people, then that main contractor is held, subcontractor is held responsible again. So whoever workers making harm to others, the contractor is held responsible. Their employer is held responsible. Workers who are not their employees and are not working in their workplace but are carrying out work on their behalf, such as contractors installing a piece of machinery on behalf of the employer at someone else's premises, and people who might be in their workplace but not carrying out work on their behalf, such as visitors. So if any visitors coming to the workplace, again, wherever the visitor is going, and whoever responsible in that place is held responsible. The people who might be outside their workplace but are affected by their work activities, such as members of the public passing by. Yeah. If a work is going on a roadside and members of public is walking on the footpath, and if they get harmed, then the manager of the work, whoever was holding that, conducting that job, is held responsible. So responsibility will be under law. Responsibility is very, very huge, and it will be decided case by case, the legal responsibility. However, the organization should have properly written responsibilities, what we have to do at different scenarios, different situations, and who holds the responsibility. So in an organization, the overall responsibility lies on the topmost designation. We generally call them top management. So managing director and directors, or CEO, CEO and top senior managers, you can say. Then under them, there are managers, there are supervisors, and there are workers scouts. So, but overall management, we call them senior managers, directors, senior managers. So what is their responsibility then to ensure safety? How do they how do they participate in health and safety? So their responsibilities would be, with regards to health and safety I'm talking, not with regards to business getting or money making. That's a different thing. They may have various responsibilities other than health and safety, but in health and safety, the right health and safety policy is put in place. It is their responsibility. The senior most management, the senior manager, the CEO should ensure that there is correct health and safety policy is implemented, is established for the organization. Adequate resources are made available. What are resources? In terms of staff or people, in terms of cost, money, and the time. Whatever resources needed for implementing health and safety, they are made available. If a manager says, no, do the job alone, there is no people to help you, that means they are not giving the resources. They are telling the worker to fall in trouble by doing the job alone, where the alone job cannot be done, because the job is very critical and very risky job. For example, working on a boom lift, working on a mobile elevated work platform. Can one person do this job? When one person is going up, again, one person should not be allowed. Two people must be there. There should be one trained person must stay below. In case emergency happens, then manually bring down the basket. So, adequate resources need to be available. If the supervisor says there are no people, we can't provide extra people, do this, do that, that will put people at risk. The right organizational structure with clear roles and responsibilities are put in place. So who will give responsibility to the low level designation like supervisors? What is their health and safety responsibility? So this must be properly, clearly drafted by the top management, like with regards to ensuring PPE availability, uh, following the right procedures in place, whatever procedures given, implementation. These are all the responsibility of the low level management. But they have to give the roles and responsibility, and these are given by the top management. A senior manager is appointed with specific responsibility for health and safety so that it can be championed at board level. One or more competent persons are appointed to assist the organization in meeting its health and safety obligations. So senior management must ensure that as many safety people needed are appointed, hired. Not that anyone they select and say, okay, you are the safety officer, this is your helmet, give them a red color helmet and say you are from today onwards, you are our safety officer. Nor he has got any training, he is not sent for any safety related courses. He was just a supervisor there, he knew some job, but today onwards he is a safety officer. No, that cannot be done. So it is the responsibility of the senior management to hire the right qualified person to guide him in health and safety. So competency again, what is competent person? Competent person having sufficient knowledge, skills, training and experience in the topic, in the subject that he is working for. If a safety officer, he should have a safety knowledge, he should have skills of safety like conducting trainings, inspections, all that. He should have training, specific trainings in various topics like scaffold erection, first aid, fire safety, all the different safety trainings he should have, and he should have adequate experience based on the need of the organization. Contractors are engaged and managed correctly, demonstrating the organization health and safety responsibilities to third parties. So senior management is responsible for any contractors they hire. So make sure they are selected in a proper way and they have been instructed properly, they have been supervised properly, so that contractors will not do any accidents at the workplace. The health and safety performance of the organization is reviewed on regular basis to ensure that the objectives are being achieved and that the objectives and measures in place remain valid. So first thing is to establish the objectives, what we need, smart objectives for the organization. Based on the core objectives, departmental objectives will be established, and these may be done by the lower level managers objectives for the department, but senior management should always ask for it and see the performance against the objectives that are set in the beginning of the year. Okay, and what happens to the middle level managers and supervisors? What is their role? So they are responsible for the health and safety of the below people working under them. The staff that work directly for them, they're responsible. Staff lower than in the organizational chart, and the areas and activities under their control. So for example, a supervisor is in charge for a workshop, then he will be responsible for the workplace workshop related activities, maybe maintenance of that machinery, maintaining good housekeeping, ensuring the workers are following right PPE. There are any problems they are sorting out. They are being informed for any kind of trainings they need to attend. And he is the link between the management and the lower level workers. There are also shared responsibility of joint occupiers of premises. For example, in a multi-story building, there can be different clients staying there. Different companies can be there. That time, there will be one management company for the building. But what is the responsibility now? Shared responsibilities. Many times organizations can have shared responsibilities in terms of evacuation of the building, in terms of first aid, So the facility management company of the building has to take the charge and give sufficient information, should have proper contact details of individual offices, and communicate with them any kind of emergencies and what to do in case of an emergency. So these kind of responsibilities for the joint, and they jointly save the people, their own people, and others who are working, the neighboring clients. They should all go out together and help each other. So what does the article 17 says for C155? Whenever two or more undertakings engage in activities simultaneously at one workplace, they shall collaborate in applying the requirements of this convention. Best example is in a construction site. There can be many subcontractors. So one contractor's job can harm another contractor. It can cause a fire for welding activity. If another contractor is having some flammables there, and welding is carried out by another contractor, then the welding spark can harm and cause a fire at the flammable area. So these information they need to pass on, and try to minimize the risk of any type of accidents from happening. ILO R164 recommendation 11 says, whenever two or more undertakings engage in activities simultaneously at one workplace, they should collaborate in applying the provisions regarding the occupational safety and health and the working environment without prejudice to the responsibility of each undertaking for the health and safety of its employees. In appropriate cases, the competent authority or authorities should prescribe general procedures for this collaboration. This requires effective communication between employers, the exchange of relevant information, and the development of appropriate policies and procedures. This could be carried out in variety of ways depending on the nature of the work and work site. Okay, that is for you to read. Please read on in which ways there are different contractors work together. Now they can save each other. Okay. Next one is contractor management. Who is a contractor? Contractor is a person or organization engaged to undertake certain work on behalf of a client, but not under the client's direct supervision and control. So there cannot be direct control from the client. Client will not tell them how to do the job. Contractor is himself a professional guy. Client will engage him and make the job done. If the contractor is very professional, has got very good health and safety standards, then the job will be done very smoothly. Good quality work can be expected without any accidents and injury. But if the contractor is very poor standards, not following health and safety rules, he might end up in accident at workplace and workplace of the client, and injuring his own people, also causing harm to the client's people, inviting authorities, putting problem for the client, and end of the day, he will, because he was selected for very low budget by the client, and he will end up in making a lot of problem to the client. Job will not be completed. If it is completed also with a poor quality, and client will regret for hiring such contractors. So can we make the contractor's job more safely? Can a client supervise the contractor? Yeah, for supervision, again, client has to hire a separate, supervisor. But there is, for a huge jobs, definitely there will be a, supervisor in between the client. Suppose if a client wants to build a big building, they will hire a consultant. So consultant will be the supervisor. Consultant will design, will contact the designer. They will do the drawings. Then consultant will hire a contractor, and they will come to a proper, terms and conditions. Contractors are selected properly based on their experience, all that. And end of the day, the supervisor will help the client to get his product or get his building done with low risk of accidents and injury and legal consequences. But client has to now bear the cost of the consultant in between. So consultant will charge for that job. So that is the another way a client can work. But generally, if a client can manage a contractor, that is well and good. So how to do this work? How to manage the contractor? A client is a person or organization who engages a contractor. So there are duties now, shared duties. Contractors are responsible for their own health and safety and the health and safety of others who might be affected by their work activities. A contractor company have a duty to their own workers and the other people who are coming in contact with their jobs. Therefore, they owe a duty to their own employees and also other people. It may be members of public, client people who might be affected by what contractors do. Similarly, the client or the employer have a duty to their own staff and others who might be affected by their work. So if a contractor coming to the site, then contractors, workers, employer has got a responsibility, and any other workers in the premises, maybe suppliers coming, drivers are coming there, then their safety is client responsibility, and any visitors visiting the premises is the client responsibility. The individual workers of the client also owe a duty to themselves and other people. So individual workers also, this is, we already understood the duties there in the C155 and R164, Article 19 and Article 16. So how can we make now sure that contractors' jobs are made safe? So there are three ways the client can manage a contractor so that the job can be done in a safe way. What are these three key areas client has to concentrate on? Selection of contractors. If you select a good contractor, a reasonably good contractor, considering cost, good cost, reasonable cost, good health and safety standards, less risky contractor, selection. We will see that what are the aspects you need to consider. Then plan and coordination of the work that need to be done. So plan it correctly with the contractor. And monitoring and managing the work. During the work time, client has to manage it and monitor it by keeping a person behind the contractor. So selecting the contractor. How would you select a contractor? What should be the criteria? Is it just a tender and cheapest contractor will get? No. While selection, look into all the biddings, all the contractors, and see whether they have a health and safety policy. See their risk assessments and their method statements. Some examples you can ask them. The qualifications and training received by the contractor staff. Are they well qualified? Do they have a safety officer? That's the membership of professional organization and certified body. What is their safety officer doing? What qualified he is? Whether he has got any memberships like IOSH membership, grad level, chartered membership, technician, technical membership. So these memberships show that these people are professional. Then records of maintenance and test for plant and equipment. Records of maintenance and test for plant and equipment. Any plant and equipment brought in by the contractor, for example, a crane, it should have proper records. So you can ask them before they get inside, ask them what are your equipments and show us their certifications. Name of previous or current clients to use as a reference. So see their jobs where they have done. So ask the reference of their previous clients or current clients and go there, visit to their site and see how the job is being carried out. If the client says that, or is a dangerous contractor, you get an idea whether he is the right for your job or not. Accident history records. See their safety and health statistics. Any accident, injuries, ill health cost. Of course, you need to do some research. They might give you all 000 number, even though they have accident. But you need to have an investigation, thorough investigation, check their background, and come to a conclusion. Don't straight away rely on these records. Records of enforcement action taken by authorities against them. Ask about this. Proof of adequate resources, such as access to specialist safety advice. Where they go if they don't have a in-house safety officer, where they go for safety advice. Do they have a consultant with them? So all that. So once you select based on these various points, you select a contractor with good health and safety, with the low budget, then you can plan and coordinate the job. So information must be exchanged between the client and the contractor during the coordination. So what information must be exchanged? About the job, about the site hazards, about the equipments, what they're using, all that planning should be done. The client should tell the contractor about the hazards and risk in the workplace. The contractor should tell the client about the hazards and risk created by the work. In this way, the work can be planned so that everyone is kept safe. So client has to tell about the site-related hazards where the jobs are being done, and the contractor has to explain about the work-related hazards. The contractor should carry out risk assessment on the work involved and develop a safe working methods to control the risk identified. So risk assessments for contractor job must be carried out, and the safe work method developed and must be submitted to the client for his approval. This way we are going to work. These are the risks involved in our work. And this will be documented by the client, and they can give an approval to that based on the effective implementation of the control measures. That way. So it will be helpful to the client later if the contractor is not following these procedures. He can straight away stop the work and ask them, please implement the health and safety controls that you've given us in the initial time of the review, risk assessment review time. You've given us that. Now you have to implement it. You can't simply give us that method statement and here you do something different. So against that risk assessment method statement, they can be judged, they can be held responsible in case of an accident. The client and contractor must coordinate their work carefully so as not to conflict. There may be several contractors working on site at any one time, and the activities of one person organization must not cause a hazard for another in the area. For example, if one contractor is working at height, it would be sensible to avoid others working below them in that area. So if there are 2 points, one is working on the height, then there are chances that items can fall down or something can go wrong there. So let others not be there. So it should be done in proper communication and coordination between the contractors. Now during the work time, client has to monitor the contractor's job and manage the work. So what arrangement must be done by the client? Arrangement must be made by the client to ensure that contractor complies with safe working practices. So this should be done by proper procedure like signing in and out procedure. Contractor has got a time given for him, what time they can enter the client site in the morning, and up to what time they should finish the job and leave in the evening. So maybe morning 8 till evening 5, if that is agreed, then there should be a contract made, and every employee of the contractor must be given proper identity cards and informed about the timings and other induction training in the beginning. So ensuring that the contractor provides a named work supervisor. So contractor has to give a named person to deal with or communicate with the client and tell them that is what is happening. Carrying out site induction training for all contractor workers. So client has to provide this training. Maybe client's health and safety people can do that. giving them what kind of information should be given to the contractor workers there in the induction training. They should tell them about the company's policy, health and safety policy, whom they should report in case they find out any incident, accident, any unsafe conditions, whom to report. They should be informed about any first aid, if they need any kind of first aid help, during any injury time, whom to contact, what to do, what not to do, do's and don'ts, like no smoking areas, dining areas where they should eat, which areas they should not enter, or maybe dangerous areas because of the client's some manufacturing plant, any machinery being worked there. Contractors, people should not enter there. They should be informed well in advance. Any permits they need to ask for in case of welding, hot works are being carried out by contractor, whether it is required that they need permission by the client. If yes, then it must be informed in the induction training program. And this training session must be properly recorded with signatures of all the workers attended, which will be very, very useful in case of an accident happens, that when the authorities are asking whether these people were informed about this hazard, you can show them always the induction training records with proper topics mentioned on that. So controlling high risk activities with permit to work system. Okay, so and this need to be checked once it has been informed to the client, and then it must be monitored throughout the work. So during the how can you monitor? Through inspections, audits of contractor work. And during this time, if client personnel come to know that whatever being said by the contractor and not being implemented, that will be that job should be stopped immediately, and ask the contractor must be asked to rectify the issues and do the job as per the method statement. So we will see what is the permit system. We will see in detail in other chapters. But a permit to work system is a formal documented safety procedure forming part of a safe system of work, which ensures that all necessary actions are taken before, during, and after particularly high risk work. And that way we finished the lesson 1.